Bessie Coleman, the forgotten pioneering aviator. Imagine living in the early 20th century, an African-American woman, and you dream of flying. A seemingly impossible dream in a society riddled with racial and gender prejudice. But there was one woman who made that dream a reality, not just for herself, but for an entire generation. She was Bessie Coleman. Welcome to Stories That Stay, where we uncover the forgotten tales of those who shaped history, yet whose names aren't fully recorded in textbooks. Today, we're going to tell the story of Bessie Coleman, the extraordinary woman who broke barriers in the sky and inspired millions, yet whose story is little known. Elizabeth Bessie Coleman was born in 1892 in Atlanta, Texas, the 10th of 13 children in a poor sharecropping family. Her mother was African American, and her father had African American and Native American ancestry. Bessie grew up in an environment rife with racial discrimination and poverty. She had to work from a very young age, picking cotton to make a living. Despite her difficult circumstances, Bessie was an intelligent and ambitious student. She always longed for a better life. In 1916, she moved to Chicago, where she worked as a manicurist and began hearing stories about pilots in World War I. Her brother, who had just returned from France, often teased her that French women were allowed to fly planes, something African American women couldn't do. Those taunts ignited a fire in Bessie. She was determined to become a pilot. Bessie's dream seemed unattainable. No flight school in America would accept her, being both a woman and an African American. But Bessie didn't give up. She learned that France did not have the strict racial or gender segregation that America did. With financial help from a wealthy restaurant owner and an African American newspaper publisher, Bessie began to learn French. Then she used all her savings to travel to France in 1920. In France, she enrolled in the prestigious flight school École d'Aviation des Frères Caudron. On June 15, 1921, Bessie Coleman made history. She became the first African-American woman and the first Native American person in the world to earn an international pilot's license from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, FAI. Upon returning to the U.S., Bessie Coleman quickly became a phenomenon. She was famous for her barnstorming performances, daring aerial acrobatics, parachute jumps from planes, and spectacular flying stunts. Audiences, both white and black, flocked to see Queen Bess perform. However, for Bessie, flying was not just for entertainment. She had a greater mission: to inspire the next generation of African Americans. She refused to perform in segregated venues and always emphasized the importance of establishing a flight school for African Americans. She wanted to prove that anyone, regardless of their skin color or gender, could achieve their dreams. Bessie regularly visited schools and churches, telling her adventures and encouraging Black children to pursue their dreams. She bought an old airplane and began fundraising to open her own flight school. Unfortunately, Bessie Coleman's dream was tragically cut short. On April 30th, 1926, during a test flight in Florida, her plane malfunctioned, and Bessie died at the age of 34. Her death was a great loss, but Bessie Coleman's legacy lives on. She paved the way for many other African American aviators, both male and female. Aviation clubs were named after her, and she became a symbol of courage, perseverance, and overcoming adversity. However, like many other pioneers, Bessie Coleman's story is often not as widely known as other famous aviators in history. She is a forgotten figure, a woman who challenged all the limits of her time, not only on the ground but also in the sky. Bessie Coleman's story is a powerful reminder that courage and determination can break down any barrier. She was not just a pilot, she was a dreamer, an activist, and a symbol of hope. Bessie Coleman flew higher than the clouds, she flew higher than societal prejudices, and her story is definitely a story that stays, a story that will resonate forever. Do you know of any other pioneers who broke barriers in history that you think deserve to have their stories told? Share their tales in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Stories That Stay so you don't miss other meaningful stories, and share this video if you want Bessie Coleman's story to be widely known. Thank you for listening. See you in the next stories.